What if you don't need to live in pain and suffering? What if you could give up your karma and have a life of abundance and joy? What if you could start creating magic and miracles that you never thought were possible? Get ready to listen, share, and experience the magic that is you. Now, here's the host of Creating Abundance with Ease radio show, Dr. Helen Gitlevich.
Welcome. I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich, and you're on Creating Abundance with Ease. And today, our radio show topic is: what judgment can you use to make more money? What if you could make more money just by using somebody else's judgments? What if judgments are not real? What if you could use judgments to your advantage? Let's play with those ideas and see how your life can be different. And by the way, I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich, and I'm a medical doctor who turned out to be a radio host, a podcast host that you're listening right now, also certified facilitator with Access Consciousness, being you facilitator, and Akashic Records teacher and founder of School of Akashic School of Creation. So welcome to my show. And what if it is more to life than you can possibly imagine? What if there is magic? What if there is anything you can possibly imagine that can create more in your life? So let's talk about judgment. How often you refuse judgment, avoided judgment? Think of even as a child, you didn't want to be judged. So when you went to your first day of school, you tried to be good because your mom said that you're supposed to behave. Otherwise, people will judge. But not only judge you, but they also judge uh, everybody. They judge, let's see, they judge themselves, they judge you, they judge your parents, and everything is about judgment. So let's play a game. Let's stop judging for about 10 seconds. One, two, three. Oh, wait. You couldn't even do that, right? Let's face it. You immediately went into, oh, wait a second. Am I doing it right? Am I doing it wrong? Because all our lives, we are pretty much in the space of either judging or being judged. That's how this reality works. When you're working at your job, at school, at home, uh, we actually go to some extremes. I remember a joke when I was still a kid. When a woman comes to a doctor and asks him, "Doctor, which animal am I?" He looks at her, he's like, "No, you're a woman. No, 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 you don't get it. I'm some kind of animal because when I wake up, my hair looks like a dog's hair, one of those Pomeranians. I run to work and I pretty much work like one of those animals that they carry, like an ass. I work like an ass. And then I go to the stores and I look like one of those hounds to find stuff that I need so I can wear that particular dress to the wedding. And then I come home and I literally bark at my kids. I also roar like a lion or a tiger on my husband. And when I go to sleep, my husband tells me, come on, move over, you cow. So everything is about being an animal and about a judgment. So, doctor, who am I? And I know it's probably not very funny because it's very kind of like similar to what we go through our lives. And we look to somebody else to tell us who we are and looking for the judgment to define us. So, what if we don't have to define us? What if we can pretty much be ourselves with no point of view, with just being? Huh, an interesting notion. Being. How much of all of that we define our lives based on what we actually never chose, but those choices that we make are according to our parents, our grandparents, all they judged us, good or bad. By the way, let's talk about what are judgments, because sometimes judgments actually can be positive, because we think of judgments being only negative, right? Mm-mm. She's a wonderful woman, or she's so smart, can be a judgment. And he's a snob, or he's a slob, can be an awareness. Because a lot of times we have an awareness about somebody or about ourselves. We look at things and, oh, interesting choice this person had. Oh, I'm judging them. Not necessarily. Because we have a wonderful tool, light and heavy. Whatever is true is light, and whatever is heavy is always a lie. Let me tell you, judgment is always, always, always a lie. There is nothing true about judgments. Awareness, always true. So whatever is light is usually awareness, and whatever is heavy is a judgment. How cute. So we go along and we think we're judging somebody. Oh my God, she's such a bitch. And that's actually an awareness. In that 10 seconds, that person.
Okay. 10 seconds. Have a great show.
And it's about being and being in our awareness. It's about what's true for us. It's about what we can be aware. But then we judge our awareness that it's a judgment. And how many of those awarenesses we judged as a judgment actually stopped us from what creates more in our lives? Let's face it. When we have an awareness that we can have more money, how often do we start judging it? Oh, wait, but that taken away from somebody else. Oh, no, I don't deserve it. Oh, no, I'm not good enough. Oh, no, I'm too weak to make that decision. Oh, no. And all those no's stops us, because all those no's are judgments. What if we start judging ourselves as we are capable and deserve? Oh, wait, those are not judgments. Those are awarenesses. Those things are what's true about us. How much are we not allowing ourselves to really think the greatness that we are? Not knowing our greatness, not acknowledging. We're looking for acknowledgement from outside, from other people. And can other people give us that? Or other people can only judge us? Yeah, that. They judge us, positive or negative. And then we align and agree with them or resist and react. And then we try to understand. Oh my God, the understanding and duplication. When we try to understand why they're actually judging us for whatever they judge us, it's never true. But what happens? We look at the judgment. Let's look at all the judgments, and then you see that, and you try to understand if that's right, if they're correct in their judgment. But you know what? In order to understand, you have to duplicate it in your body. And it's about choosing to take that energy that they judged you about and actually embodying it. So that proving that the judgment was right or correct. What if nothing is correct? And the fun part about it, we are just having a little technical difficulty with our show, and I have no fucking clue if it's actually recording. So let's play with the judgments. And it is something that we are so ingrained ever since we were kids to understand, listen to the judgments, or actually listen to the judgments, understand them, and correct them. But in order to correct them, we have to get them, right? Because what if it wasn't real? And we made it real by listening to it, by being it, by embodying it. And what if it is just about looking at it and seeing for what it is, that it is a lie, and letting it go? And it's time for our first break in the show. And you've been listening to me, Dr. Helen Gitlevich, on Creating Abundance with Ease on Inspired Choices Network. And after we will...
Many of us live our lives based on karma, on the past, and all the unfinished business in our lives. What would you choose if you did not have karma, or if you could choose what you desired instead? By tuning into Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to create the abundance in your life. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to have ease with creating abundance? Listen for Creating Abundance with Ease radio show every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email become a host at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255, Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to helen.g@att.net. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. And you've been listening to Creating Abundance with Ease, to me, Dr. Helen Gitlevich. And our show topic today is what judgments can you use to make more money? And guess what? It's actually true. For every judgment that you receive with no point of view and not taking it personally, you actually will make maybe $5,000 more, or maybe 5,000 euros or 4,000 euros, whatever it translates into your currency. And also, if you actually take a point of view about it, if you really buy that judgments are real, that's when you're losing money. Because that's when you start looking at what's wrong with you. What if it's nothing wrong with you? What if you actually just be? And everything is just an interesting point of view. Because, as I said, judgments are lies. And when we don't have any points of view about it, when we're in total allowance of that, that's when we can see what's true for us. There is a wonderful question that Access Consciousness has. What's right about this I'm not getting? What's right about me I'm not getting? Because there is nothing wrong with you. But we are buying the judgments of other people that there must be something wrong with us. And especially if we're not like everybody else. How much are you judging you that you're different? And what if it's not a judgment? What if your uniqueness actually is the strongness of you? What if it's an awareness of how brilliant you are? Just a thought. Does it feel light or heavy for you? Yeah, that tool is amazing as far as seeing what's true and what's a lie. So a lot of people tell me, oh, I have no idea what light and heavy is. Really? Let's play that game again. Look at kind of nature. Nature can never lie. So think of the moment when you're in nature. Yesterday, I took a walk it's kind of like a park, a preserve, whatever it was. And there were moments where I was alone. And it was such an expansiveness and lightness. And then people were passing by, and immediately there was a little heaviness. So think of yourself somewhere in nature, but with no people. Just you and the forest, you and the beach, you and the mountains, wherever you choose to be in that 10 seconds, in this moment of time. And just close your eyes and just be with that. Light and expanding. And everybody will feel different. That's why our uniqueness. Just like snowflakes, each one is unique, each one is beautiful, and there is no two snowflakes alike. And yet, it's about you being unique and the lightness that you feel. Okay, erase that. Now think of a moment when somebody judged you. and lied to you and told you how awful you were, how wrong you were. We always have moments. Even if most of your life you've now never been judged, there is one moment where you were. Could have been 5 seconds ago, or could have been 5 days ago, or thousands of years ago. Doesn't matter. Just allow yourself to feel that, yeah, heavy. And now, would you be willing to let go of that? And I'm going to use a weird phrase, a clearing statement of access consciousness, to clear that. Would you let me? Thank you. I kind of heard yes. Right and wrong, good and bad, buck and butt, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. And with all of that, just know if it's heavy, it's not true. If it's light, that's what's true for you. So let's play with those tools. Are you brilliant? Does it feel light? Yeah. Are you pathetic? Oh my God, that's so heavy. No, you're not pathetic, but you're playing it so that people don't find you out that you're stronger. And is that working for you? Is it actually working? Or it kind of works and it kind of doesn't. So let's let go of that. And let's be in allowance of everything we choose, everything we kind of be. And oh my God, you just went into judgment of you that you're pathetic and you chose that and all of that. What if it's not wrong? Again, nothing is wrong and nothing is right. What if it was just a choice you had in that 10 seconds, in that moment of, oh, I'll play with that. How much important and significant did you make everything in your life? What if nothing is important? What if nothing is significant? What if it is about just being? What if it's just, let's play with the universe and let's start asking for what we desire. The way I used to teach creative visualization, and I'm talking about teaching because a lot of modalities, it's about teaching. It's about being present and kind of like learning and understanding how the principles work. And it did work to some degree, because we can create based on visualization only what we know, what we can imagine. That's why creative visualization, because we can visualize something, but we can visualize only what we've seen. And that's why this technique a lot of times involves magazines, and especially like travel magazines, some papers, some newspapers, some drawings, because a lot of it based on what you saw. Oh, I'll have that. And you can use that. By the way, that's nothing wrong with that. You can use that too. And what if you can create more than what you've seen? More than you can imagine? What if the universe is much more abundant place that can create something that you've never seen before? There was a funny thing that happened to me. Well, didn't happen, I created it. I went for vacation with a friend of mine, and we were creating a lot of things by asking questions. And that's what I would like to introduce. The more questions you can ask, the more you can actually be present with what else is possible. How does it get any better than that? And that's just a couple of questions. How can I create that? What would it take for me to create that? all of those questions is part of creation and generation that you can start implementing in your life. So we are on vacation, we're asking questions, and we're getting upgrades left and right, and it's just amazing time we're having. And then on the way back, and by the way, while we're on vacation on the cruise, there are snowstorms in Chicago, and we totally passed it. We left right before they started, and we came right after. So how does it get any better than that? But there was an interesting moment when we looked at our tickets, and when we checked in, our seats were A and C, meaning that there is a middle seat empty, or somebody might be sitting. And both of us looked at each other, it's like, uh-oh, what else is possible here? How does it get any better than that? And at first, my friend was like, let's change the seats so we're together. I'm like, no. Let's wait. And just keep asking questions. Maybe we won't have anybody in between us. So that was the first time that airlines implemented tables in between, an empty seat in between the seats. So the middle seat was not only empty, there was a little kind of like table between us that we could put things on there. And now it's used in business class, first class, on European local flights. But at that time, nobody saw it. It was just an invention that was, I think, implemented maybe a week ago or less. And maybe based on our questions, what else is possible? It was just magical. We took a picture of that to prove to people that it does exist. So how often we avoid miracles based on the judgments, based on what's not true, and what we already seen, or maybe what was true, what we've seen, but we are not willing to go beyond that, into that empty but totally filled up space with possibilities. And it's time for our second break of the show. And you've been listening to me, Dr. Helen Gitlevich, on Creating Abundance with Ease on the Inspired Choices Network. And we'll continue to discuss judgments and what we can do with them after the break. We'll be back.
Many of us live our lives based on karma, on the past, and all the unfinished business in our lives. What would you choose if you did not have karma, or if you could choose what you desired instead? By tuning into Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to create the abundance in your life. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to have ease with creating abundance? Listen for Creating Abundance with Ease radio show every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Magic and abundance are everywhere. What if you could tap into abundance and start creating your life with complete and total ease? Working with Dr. Helen Gitlevich will give you exactly that, total ease in creating abundance in your life. Dr. Gitlevich creates classes all over the world, both in person and online. She works with you to create abundance with your money, with your body, with your relationships, with all areas of your life with total ease. Connect with Dr. Helen Gitlevich at creatingabundancewithease.com. Her contribution in your world will be a noticeable gift in a very short period of time.
This is Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. Canada 613-800-8736. Or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to helen.g@att.net. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. And you've been listening to Creating Abundance with Ease with myself, Dr. Helen Gitlevich. And today our show topic is, what judgment can we use to make more money? And yes, I do not remember my own titles. And how much more judgment can I receive for that? I wonder. Oh, and actually, I don't have any point of view about that other than, might have more money. And how much more money can I make with that? And it's not linear. People think, oh, wait, so if I receive judgment with no point of view, I'll automatically get money from my work. No, you might get money in different ways. And it's not always, by the way, money not necessarily is like paper and currency. It might be something else. I've known some people who found diamond bracelet. Or for me, a lot of times it translates into extremely cheap travel. Like instead of like paying $2,000-$3,000, I might pay $300. And that's still making money. So how often do you actually receive money and don't acknowledge it and actually like totally dismiss it? By the way, if you do that, it's just like not receiving judgment, because the more you acknowledge that you're receiving, the more you can receive more. Because receiving judgment is still receiving. Receiving. Let's talk a little bit about receiving. How can we receive money? But it's not just money. It's about receiving everything, receiving awareness, receiving judgment, receiving us. Interesting. What if we start receiving us? People have no idea how to receive ourselves. Well, can we receive others? A lot of times we can easier receive others than ourselves, because others don't have to be that perfect. I know about you, but I'm perfectionist and a control freak and OCD, and everything has to be perfect. I can forgive imperfection in others, but imperfections in me? Oh God, no. I have to be perfect. Even on this show, there were moments where I started judging me. It's like, am I looking right? Am I looking okay? Am I speaking loud enough? All of those judgments, do they create more in my life or less? Usually less, because anytime when I'm judging me, it's a point of view. And point of view, think of it as a laser. Because if you have one point of view, it keeps your peripheral vision out. You're just looking at one point. I know a lot of times we were told to focus. Don't focus. Because the more unfocused you are, the more you can see around you. It's about not focusing, not having a point of view, but just having everything and receiving everything. Let's do a little, I like to do meditations. Like, this is kind of like my thing. I like to expand. So if you're not driving, you can close your eyes. If you're driving, if you're somewhere working, don't close your eyes, but you can still unfocus your vision, which creates almost the same effect. So you don't focus on specific things, so you can expand more. When you focus on something, you're focusing and you create the solidity in your life. That's interesting. That's kind of a meme. So when you focus on something, you're actually making yourself small and solid so you can focus. And that a lot of times, even if we are using our eyesight. So unfocus your eyes, kind of look maybe a couple of meters or 5 feet in front of you, and just look into nowhere, just like I'm doing right now. And drop your barriers, because barriers are the one that's not allowing us to be all of us. Just allow ourselves just to be that space and expand. First, see where you are and how are you functioning, because a lot of times having that awareness is also very important. It's not about judging, but just the starting point. Are you in your body? Are you in a part of your body? Are you just in your head? Are you in your heart? Because people say, oh, stay in your heart. But guess what? It's still a contraction. Even that your heart space is big, but in order for you kind of like to be expanded, you can have your heart inside of you, just like you can have your body inside of you. Or are you totally outside your body and your body is kind of like a little marionette, a little doll that you're moving around? Doesn't matter. There is no wrong, there is no right. Don't judge yourself or judge yourself, whatever you choose. It's your point of view that creates your reality. So let's move beyond that. And let's invite us into the body and expand beyond it so our body is inside of us. And now expand your being, soul, whatever you call it, in this 10 seconds. Make it as big as the room you're sitting in, or if you're outside, maybe a mile, couple of miles, and keep going. Even if you're in the room, expand beyond the walls of that room in all directions, up, down, sideways, and keep expanding, keep expanding, keep expanding into space. Make yourself as big as Earth. I know a lot of people talk about grounding, and I just finished this 3-day body class here in Chicago, and one of the women said, oh, I need to ground. Because a lot of modalities talk about it. What if it's not about grounding? What if it's about connecting to Earth and being bigger than Earth and contributing to Earth and having communion with Earth, not grounding? Because think of grounding. You have to make yourself solid into a point so you can ground yourself like a grounding rod. That grounding rod, what's the purpose of grounding rod? It just takes the lightning and takes it on and sends it into Earth so it avoids other objects. So, oh my God, I just had an awareness. So when we make ourselves grounding or to ground, we actually make ourselves susceptible more to people's judgments, to problems other people have. We actually take it on ourselves more when we are grounded. Would you be willing to unground yourself? And also when we're grounding ourselves, we have to make ourselves so important and everything so important that it literally makes us heavy. And how much of weight are we gaining based on our grounding techniques? And just saying, I'm not judging, or am I? I'm fine with judging. I'm fine with not judging. This is being in total allowance of judgment. Because a lot of times when we start judging, we immediately judge ourselves for judging. And then we judge ourselves for judging our judgments. And everything that is, we destroy and uncreate that. Thank you, Right, Wrong, Good, Bad, Back, Bad, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. And everywhere where we are And by the way, if you've never heard clearing statement of access consciousness, you can go to the website, theclearingstatement.com. It explains everything. It's basically vibrational frequency that lets us get rid of crap. So back to our expansion versus grounding, connection versus grounding. Let go of the grounding idea. Don't be a grounding rod for other people's problems. Or be that. It's a choice. By the way, everything is just a choice. How much fun are you having grounding other people's problems? Oops. Because how much of that grounding actually makes you heavy? Because that's what you're doing when you're grounding. You're making yourself heavy so you can ground yourself and put yourself in the ground. This is all playing on words, but it's also playing on the energy of the words. Words have vibrational frequency that it changes things. When we say things, when we think about something, we bring this into our existence. So everywhere where you're grounding yourself, let's just try and uncreate that. Thank you. Right and wrong, good and bad, puck and pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And let's expand. So drop your barriers and allow yourself to move beyond your body, but staying in your body and still moving beyond that. 1,000 miles, 10,000 miles. Make yourself bigger than Earth, bigger than the universe and beyond. Just notice. Does it feel heavy or light? It feels light to me, and that's what's true about you. Now look at all the judgments that you've been bombarded, and you've used it on yourself to bombard it yourself with, let's say in the last 24 hours. Can they affect you? No. Can they truly hurt you? No. So what if you being that space can create something different? And not just for you, but also for this planet. What if you are that gift that planet requires, desires? And it's time for our third break of the show. And you've been listening to Dr. Helen Gitlevich, myself, on Creating Abundance with Ease on Inspired Choices Network. And we'll be right back.
Many of us live our lives based on karma, on the past, and all the unfinished business in our lives. What would you choose if you did not have karma, or if you could choose what you desired instead? By tuning into Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to create the abundance in your life. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to have ease with creating abundance? Listen for Creating Abundance with Ease radio show every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. This is Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255, Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to helen.g@att.net. Now, back to the program.
Welcome. I used to say welcome back, but I don't want to go back. I don't desire to be back. Not in time, back to whatever we were talking about, but just welcome. And you've been listening to me, Dr. Helen Gitlevich, on Creating Abundance with Ease. And today our show topic is, what judgments can we use to make more money? Or what judgments can you use to make more money? And as I said, going back, a lot of times we say, oh, I'm going back home. And a lot of times that signifies another judgment of going back. So you're actually not going forward, you're going back. So what if we are always going forward? What if we are actually choosing every second of our lives to move forward with no past? Because if we are always looking back, always returning to our past, we actually create our future based on the judgments we had in the past. And those judgments not always pretty. So what if we let go of all those judgments that other people gave us, that we chose, that we created, and move forward into that wonderful, amazing space that we just created, but even beyond that. I've heard one of the theories that the universe renews itself every millisecond. It's kind of like vibrates, and so nothing is permanent in the universe. Not our bodies, not even our planet. Everything is kind of like flashes. Or flashes, whatever I just said. But anyway, and all the judgments comes up with that. So what? Yeah, it's about shifting and changing what we are. It's about choosing what we can choose based on the energy of what will create more in our lives. What if instead of necessity, what if instead of what we have to do, must do, what if we chose based on what's fun for us? What would be ease for us? And what's interesting, we have a lot of points of view about what's fun for us, or we have no clue. It doesn't matter. Both are judgments. And we say, oh, my work is not fun for me, but I have to go to work. What if you look at all your judgments about work and actually let them go? Would work be as of a drag, or would it start getting to be somewhat fun? If you dropped all the judgment, like this instant, what if you dropped all judgments of everybody at work, of everything you do at work, of everything that you have to, must to? What if you just let it go just for a second? Just stay expanded, because I know you contracted now, but expand again from that space. Whew, yeah, thank you. Now see yourself at work. Would work be as much of a drag, as much of torture as it was yesterday if you didn't have any judgments about it? Probably not. Probably everything that you've done, all those points of view, all those judgments that you picked up, might not be even yours. And we talked before about who does it belong to. You can let go of that. I know with me, it was experiment, and it was kind of like, I think out of desperation, what I did that. I've decided that I'll take a day off and will do nothing. Nothing that I have to, nothing I must. And especially not anything I dislike. And I started my day by watching TV, which was actually doing something still. And I'm like 5 minutes into doing nothing, I got bored. And I'm like, okay, what can I do? And I chose to do some work, which I hated before because I had to do it. I think it had something to do with emails, responding, and doing something on the computer. And I had fun with that. I actually had fun. There was no pressure to do it. About an hour into that, because I said, I'll do 5 minutes. About an hour into that, I'm like, wait, today was supposed to be my day off. Real day off. And with that, I'm kind of like, okay, I'm going to vegetating, doing nothing. Because that was my idea of being at that time. We're talking about a few years ago. And without judgment, I was a little cute, but not very smart. And again, I'm judging now, or I'm not, who cares? But I'm not judging me for judging. So with that, I'm kind of looked at the situation, and every 15, 20 minutes, I would get up and do something, which was not being in my objective, but actually it was. Because when we are being, when we don't have pressure, when we're choosing from what's fun and following the priority, not the necessity, we actually accomplish much more than we think we would. It's very simple. Just being. And we are coming to almost the end. We have a couple of minutes left in the show. Just wanted to let you know what's coming up. Next week, we'll be talking about who can I call? And it's about, I'm not going to give away everything, but about who or what can contribute to our life that we're not allowing to contribute. With all of that, it's also, I'm doing a couple of body classes, one in Dallas, one in Miami, because at this moment I cannot leave the country yet. Well, I can leave the country, I cannot enter other countries, majority of the countries that I'm scheduled to go to Taiwan in November and England at the end of November. And I'm also doing a free Zoom online, actually tomorrow at 6 p.m., October 8th. Everything about body. I'm co-facilitating with amazing facilitator from Argentina, Fede Alasis. And we'll be talking about bodies, body classes, and what we can change about body, especially. We'll talk about judgment. How much of our judgments actually creates the problems in the body. And you can also watch my videos on YouTube. And if you choose, you can attend my classes, have a private session, and we can have a lot of magic together by choosing more and stop judging ourselves. And this is kind of the end, well, not the end of the show, it's the end of this show, but we'll continue next week. And I'll see you somewhere, somehow in the world.
Thank you for choosing to listen to Creating Abundance with Ease radio show. Dr. Helen Gitlevich will return next Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, have fun using the tools of the week in your life and start creating magic in your life and your body.